And here we are, live on Sunday night. You know, I used to put up on the header G.Parkers Arcade Room and OffGrid Arcade. It's just too many words. It's Greg and Bart on Sunday night.
Right. Oh, so here we sit. Here we sit at the end. The end is near.
10 solid weeks. Bart has stuck with me this whole 10 weeks. We have had a great group of people that have stuck with us the whole 10. Well, actually, 10 weeks. No, this is going on week 13 now because they had postseason.
Right.
So Bart has stuck with me. Bart has been the master of the spreadsheet and the gatekeeper of the scoring, and he's done a fantastic job. I couldn't have done it without him. I'm telling you what, it was just a great job. I came for Greg and I stayed for Bart. There you go. Well, good choice. Good choice. Oh, I got to bring the chat back up on mine. I'm not seeing it. Bart was watching. We were all ready to go. We were sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden I lost my mind and forgot where I was at and couldn't find half the stuff to get the stream actually going. So blame me for the 2-minute delay here, but we're live now. Guess what? Bart, tell them who won in your tournament. Who won in yours?
My tournament was. Oh my gosh! Now I'm having the. Oh, Balls of Slapping won mine, right?
Balls of Slapping.
I was trying to remember which one was which, the two tournaments. I know who's in the finals, but I couldn't remember. It was a really close match. Balls of Slapping pulled it out though, and then you got the winner on your side. Who won your tournament?
The Champagne Room.
Champagne Room.
Now, yeah. I would have to say that if I'd have been an odds maker in Vegas, putting the odds on, I'd have probably looked at those two to be on the top. And I'll tell you, I was really proud of old Balls of Slapping. He has been with me now. And he has won twice in previous tournaments that I ran when I was over on the At Games page, when the At Games pinball first came out and people were learning how to play FX on it. I started setting up a few tournaments over there and passed out a trophy. Thus came through the idea and the concept but we made it harder this time, and I think we made it with Bart's influence and help with me. We came up with some cool ideas of the postseason and the way we kept scoring. So anyway, my point being is the two people that are in the top. It doesn't surprise me. I'll tell you what, they're both just phenomenal players, and it's really going to be interesting to see what happens. So you want to tell them what's going to happen, Bart? I'm putting you on the spot here. We just only talked about it once.
Right. Well, we're gonna roll right in. I was trying to pull up my spreadsheet so I could go a little more in depth on how the last week turned out.
Well, while you're looking for that, then I'll just go ahead and tell them what we got planned for.
Okay.
This starting tonight, at the end or during this show, we're going to get another tournament rolling. It's just for the two finalists, and you guys that are. I know that neither one of them are here right now, so they'll have to watch it on the playback. But it's going to be on my account. It's going to be G.Parker, so you search for that, and the password is going to be G.Parker. So it's going to make it real simple. And the G.Parkers all lowercase, just like I've done in the past. So that's going to be the tournament. Is going to be Junkyard. You'll have 3 days because we set the last one up for 5 days, and everybody waited until the last day to play it, which I don't get it. So, and I'll get to that question, the Arizona Cowboy, here in a second. But anyway, going to have 3 days, 1 ball, 1 attempt. So it's Junkyard, which is it's a son of a gun table. So I'm telling you, it's going to be the best man wins or the luckiest son of a gun wins. I don't know which, but it's going to be and about 3D printing a trophy. I'll tell you what, I had thought about that, and I don't know if I can bring that image up. I will have it next week. I promise you I'll have it on this system next week. Balls of Slapping won a trophy the last two big tournaments I did that I ran multi-week tournaments. And I came up with a real neat trophy. And since he is in the final, I know he would probably appreciate, if he's the winner, to get a third trophy, a matching trophy, so he could line him up in his room. And, no, it's not a 3D printed one. It's one that I'm buying at a trophy shop. And I think Balls of Slapping already know this. It takes me a little while to get it. Of course, back when he won that was when COVID first started out and the supply chains were really hard. But hopefully I'll get it quicker than I think last time. It took me over a month to get it to him. But I will get it as soon as possible at the end of this. So with that being said, the answer is no, we're not 3D printing one. Thought about it, but I'm going to go with that same trophy that we've used the last two times. And I'll have one to show you next time on the screen.
Nice. Yeah.
So Bart, did you find anything that you want to report, or?
Well, I don't know because I only had the stuff on mine. I just didn't know if we wanted to say how it turned out on my side of the tournament. Like we said, Balls of Slapping ended up winning. He had 53.2 million. Classic Rock King had 32.5 million, and Tony's Jogren came in third with the 12.64. So I just wanted to get those scores out there. They did a great job. Everyone that played did a great job, and it was nice to, like you said, you could tell what was going, and it's not surprising some of the names we saw in last week's tournament. So
yeah, I'm looking now to see if I can. Okay, here's the way mine turned out. Champagne Room. Now this is interesting. It was Champagne Room, Livewire 713, and GTH 2370, and in that order. But I'll tell you what, this is kind of interesting here. The Champagne Room, 17,830,250 even. Livewire came in second, 17,166,510. You're only talking 600 and some thousand difference. Now, in a pinball game that scores like that,
right?
That's one good hit. I'm telling you what, that was one ball.
Yeah.
With what was that? One ball, 3 attempts?
Was it 1 ball, 3 attempts, or 3 balls, 1 attempt?
I
think it was 3 balls, 1 attempt, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3 balls, 1 attempt. Yeah. Oh, I got it written down. I got it written down here. Yeah, 3 balls, 1 attempt. So, yeah, but they only had one shot at it. So, there was no going back and saying, "Oh, I'm only $500,000." I mean, it's just a little over $500,000 points.
Yeah.
And some of those shots are 1 million points.
Yeah, you're talking like a skill shot. It was the different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool. And it was nice. I think it worked out well. And then it's going to be a fun last week to see which one can pull it. Like you said, it could be luck, could play as much as skill on this last one. Junkyard can be brutal, but yeah, I think it's a good choice.
So next Sunday is when we'll announce the winner. Same time, same station. Bart and I will both be here. And the other thing is then we'll do the drawing, because I'll have all that information. Everybody that played for every week that you played from week 1 clear to the end, your name will go into a drawing one time. I've already got that worked out. I've got a little sheet that I'm printing out, and I'm just copying and pasting each person's name for each time they played. And the wife and I are going to cut them out with little scissors, and we're going to drop them in one of my hats around here, and just blindly draw a name. I mean, I got no dog in this fight because Bart and I and our families are not in it. and it just doesn't matter to me. It just one of the people's going to walk away with another $25 gift card to. I said you could get it anywhere you wanted, but take it easy on me if you're a winner. I did find that I can get them real easily. That I can email you a code for Nintendo eShop or Steam. And Steam, you have to, if you win, you have to become a friend of mine. Now, if for some reason you don't have either one of those and you're a winner, if you have both those, I'd hope you'd take one of those prizes. If you don't have Nintendo eShop or Steam, which I can't imagine you wouldn't have been playing in the tournament, I'll work something out. I'm not going to give you something you absolutely don't want. But
right.
Anyway, that's the update on that. That'll happen next Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central. So.
Excellent. It's a little bonus tournament for people that aren't in the final. Let's see if you can win one last time.
Yeah. And we did that. Bart and I talked about that. And I think the concept was that we wanted to, you start looking at the leaderboard and you start thinking, I can't win. Well, you can win. You're winning the only thing you're missing is the trophy. Because I wanted this to be more for fun. Now, I wanted somebody to get something for winning. The trophy's cool, but I wanted to make sure the prize was equal for the first place. $25 gift card for the first place winner. $25 for a shot at winning, no matter how many people played. So
yeah, I think that's a great idea. But
we wanted to get. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you have anything else you want to say about the tournament, real quick? I was going to move on to some other stuff. But.
No. Did you want to set it up now, or do you want to wait till later to set it up?
Oh, you know what? I could. Is yours running?
No, I don't. No, you're setting it up, right?
Oh, shoot. That's right. We're just setting up one. Yes, I'll go set it up right now. So
okay.
I think I got the arcade room in there, and I'll go set it up now. You can bring it up. I can move. Oh, I sat too long. My knees hurt. Oh, ow. Ooh.
All right. I'm going to solo layout. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Here he comes.
We're creating a tournament. Junkyard. On the screen, I have time 3 days. Permission private. Ball, 1 rule. All the other stuff is disabled. 1 attempt. This is what you see is what you get, folks. Junkyard. I'm going to hit create and play. Password. G. P. A. R. K. E. R. See, I love that so much better than FX because I can see it. There's no question that I put in the right password.
Right.
We'll talk about that later. But okay, create and play. I got 1 attempt left, and I got 1 ball. Oh, ball safe.
Ball safe.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
All right. So what did Greg put up there? Let's see. 305,000. All right. You guys can't beat that.
Now, of course, before somebody gets their panties in a bunch, I'm just teasing because I can't win. I won't. But the whole time I was playing that, I thought, God, what if I do win?
Well, if they can't beat that score, there's a problem.
Yeah, if you guys can't beat that score, you shouldn't get anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you set a bar, but it's pretty low. It's manageable. But you never know. I mean, look at that, your first launch, boom, right down. I mean, it can be that way.
Yeah.
So
well, I didn't know if it was going to give me a ball save or not, because I know that some of those tables don't give you crapola for a ball save. Well, there you go, folks. There it is. It's set up. It's running. This is the end for now.
And again, so Champagne Room and Balls of Slapping, if you're watching this, I don't know if they're here live. I haven't seen either one of them in the chat, but if you're watching this replay, it's only 3 days. So don't be waiting until Friday because it's going to be over.
Yeah, 3 days.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday night, right, at about 10 o'clock Central. Be there or be square. You don't want to lose by default. But exciting.
And I do have contact information on both those people, and it's late, and I probably won't be dinging their phones this late at night, and I'm tired. When I get down here, I'm gonna go to bed. But tomorrow morning, I'll get up and I'll send both of them text messages, or one I can instant message, the other one I can text. So I'll get that information off to them to make sure, because at least it's only 2 people I got to let know. And,
right.
So in the interest of fairness, I'll make sure they know that.
Right.
But with the tournament thing over, a couple of things I'm going to talk about. I want to bring up one thing just real quick. The talks are in the work. Bart and I are talking that we're going to maybe continue the G.Parkers Arcade Room has had a 10 o'clock spot on Sunday nights for quite a while. And I've really enjoyed doing this with Bart. And we've talked about, working together on focusing more on, I've just talked about whatever came up that Sunday and never had much of a plan until we did this tournament. Bart and I have talked about continuing this. We're still working on times that are appropriate for both of us. And we may stay here at the same time. We may move, but we're going to try to come up with something where the two of us are, we're not going to abandon our own channels. I think the initial plan is to simulcast on both. I think that's what we initially talked about. And again, no feelings are hurt whoever's channel you watch on. If you've been watching on mine, go over and watch on Bart's. Give him some watch time. But so we're talking about doing that and just kind of trying to keep everybody up to date on pinball stuff. So. Anyway, and I appreciate your kind words, Fernal Inferno, saying that we're a great combo, and I feel like we work good together. So, anyway, yeah. But I'll let Bart say anything he wants about that if he wants.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like Greg was just saying, we got to work on the time slot, see if this still works. It's been working throughout the tournament, but if we can figure out something that might work out better for us, we may move the time, whether it's to a different day or just, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to continuing and, talk about pinball stuff, have a weekly pinball show.
And we'll have, and we'll try to get the latest news on stuff, reviews, and have special guests, people that want to come on, get a hold of us somehow, and we'll, just discuss some talking points or whatever. We've had, I had Lars from Zen Studios on. He's the head custodian on one time. So, maybe Bart and I can get Lars to come back on again. So,
yeah. And Derek showed up. I guess we should probably say hello to some of these people that.
Go ahead.
We jumped right in and didn't really say much. Derek's up on the screen, but I'll start up at the top. AZ Cowboy 1, longtime friend. He was here early. Feral Inferno's here. Arcade Chaos, good friend of ours. Of course, Mr. Livewire. Classic Gaming is here. Kelly woke up. So I didn't wake her up. She was sleeping on the couch when I come out here. She made it up. Who else is here? There's Farrell again. This, I don't know how to, was that eight Grace? I take great. Hello, good evening to you too, and Mr. Livewire again. Yeah, so we got some good people in here.
I want to point out that Mr. Livewire right there, 1970, is the one that we mentioned earlier. I don't know if you're here when we mentioned it, but and Champagne Room's there now in the chat. But
hey.
Mr. Livewire, he's the one I mentioned. Champagne Room in the tournament, 17,830,000. Livewire, 17,166,000. There's one skill shot or a couple bumper hits away from there being a big difference in how that
right.
shake out. So.
Right. That's a lot of fun to see it come down to the wire like that. Oh
no problem, Champagne Room. I understand, and we'll get together later on. But hey, is at Grace is that one of the people you know, Bart?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, hello and welcome.
T Grace. Yeah. See, even phonetically, I can butcher stuff.
Yeah.
But
what I was going to move on to next, I was going to ask Bart to kind of, since we want to talk a little pinball news, we're not going to be on late tonight. I know Bart's had a long day and I got an early day tomorrow, but I know Bart is. I want to talk about FX pinball. I want to go back to this subject. We've been playing pinball on FX3, but a lot has happened. And the only reason I'm picking on Bart and going to turn this over to him now and kind of lay this on him is he has made some numerous purchases and he has started the transition from Epic to Steam. So I'm going to turn it over to Bart and let him tell a little bit about his experience and some of his thoughts and the information he's found out. Go ahead, Bart.
All right. Well, first I'm going to acknowledge this latest text issue. I'm in Texas too. So, and it's such a small state, I'm sure we'll bump into each other. But nice to have you with us. But yeah, the transition from Steam to from Epic. Technically, it hasn't happened yet because I filled out the form, but from what I understand on Reddit today, I was reading, it sounds like they're going to start sending out the emails. It said next week, but I can't remember. I don't remember if the guy posted it yesterday or if it was earlier today. And is he meaning next week, like this coming week that we're starting into, or if he means next week, so like a week from today? But that's when they're going to start sending out the emails. Apparently it is a fairly long process because they're going to verify. They got to verify your account and then all the tables you own and send you a code for each of those tables. So just because they start, say it is next week, say they start next Monday sending them out, it could still be another, couple weeks, I guess, till you could get it. I don't know. I guess it depends on where in line you are. But in the meantime, they do have a really good sale going on. You just got to be careful. You don't want to double buy stuff. So all the stuff I have on Epic, I'm not buying here because I don't want to pay for it again because it'll transfer for free. But they have really good deals. I've been buying pinball packs that were $10 a piece on FX3. I'm getting them for FX for half price. So I'm paying basically $5 for these packs. So it's a pretty good deal. So I don't know if Kelly's still watching. I might be getting in trouble. Right before I was waiting for Greg to get here, I spent $40 and I got all of the Marvel tables and a bunch of the Williams tables. So it's a pretty good deal. And actually, if you don't own them on FX3, you can still get the deal, and you'll pay the full price, the $9.99, but you'll get it on FX3 and FX. So you can build up your stock on FX3 at the same time. Any tables you were missing on FX3, you can pay $10 or $9.99 a pack and get it on both platforms, both FX3 and FX.
Now, I did not know that. That is some interesting news. That is.
Yeah. I discovered that because I thought I had all the tables that FX3 had to offer, but I did find one of the Marvel packs that I did not have on FX3. And that pack actually was $6.99 because there's only 2 tables, and it didn't cut in half. I'm like, why didn't it cut in half? And I scrolled down. It's like, because I didn't own the FX3, but it would give me both for that $6.99. So, yeah, if you get FX on Steam and you have FX3 on Steam, but you didn't buy a bunch of tables, you can buy them both. It's like 2-for-1 deal. So you got to go in and search for Pinball FX Legacy in Steam. And if you search for Pinball FX Legacy, it'll list all of those packs. And you'll see the price will be $9.99. But when you click on it to buy it, if you already own the FX3 ones, it'll cut that price in half then. So that's the full price for FX3 and FX. So if you don't need the FX3 part, it gets cut in half. So, yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, and it is a tough decision, Derek. I was on the fence too. I have a little bit of. It seems to run smoother for me on Steam than it did on Epic, so that's part of why I was switching over, because Steam is just more seamless for me. But
yeah, and that sounds like there's some really good deals. Again, I've explained it numerous times. I was telling Bart that I tried the other day to log into Steam on both my computers. And I thought, and could I play any other game and then play FX on one system and FX3 on the other? And it won't let you. Steam will only let you log into it on one computer at a time. So that's the only reason I'm not switching back to Steam, is I'm keeping Epic for FX and Steam for FX3. I've got 2 computers in the game room, 2 cabinets, and I can play FX on one on Epic and FX3 on the other, playing at the same time. Otherwise, I'd be jumping on it like a hot potato.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great deal. I do own all the tables on FX3. I will probably end up owning them all again on FX. I said I wouldn't do it, but I think like you do, Bart. You were the one that said, my God, I go to a pinball place and I throw a buck in to play a game one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my big conflict is, and to me, I sound like a broken record, but the Switch, there's a lot of pros and cons with the Switch. First of all, they're going to have to dumb FX down for the Switch because it doesn't have the graphics.
Right.
The others do. But one thing I love about the Switch compared to anything else is I've got the family plan. So my wife's on there, and I think you experienced the same thing on yours, Bart. Kelly's on there, you're on there, I'm on there, Cheryl's on there, my son's on there. So if somebody picks up my Switch, they can start a tournament under their name. They can play a game in a tournament. Then I can pick it up and play a game in a tournament. The Switch is just more friendly for multi-users. And so I'm probably going to end up I'm probably going to triple dip.
Yeah. I am too. I know you and I discussed it at length, both in private and on this show, but we talked about, no, I'm not going to double dip. I'm just going to buy the new tables. I'm not going to buy all that stuff. And I don't know if we talked about this last week or not, but this new FX, the reason they went from FX3 to just FX instead of calling it FX4 is because this is supposed to be the definitive Pinball FX. And from here on, they're just going to update this one. They're not going to come out with a 5 and then 6. And it's just going to be Pinball FX, and they're going to say, hey, there's an update. You download the update, you update the game, and you get the new tables. And eventually, you want to be all in one spot. And I didn't want to be like, okay, now I have 150 tables on FX, but if I want to play those Star Wars tables, I got to go back to FX3. I just want them all to be in one spot. And if this is the game of the future, so be it. And they're doing good stuff with it.
And one thing that might get me in trouble, so I'm letting you know that Bart and I didn't talk about this ahead of time. If I say something that makes you mad, then just go watch us over on Bart's channel. But for the people who, everybody has their right to their own opinion, but for the people who complain that you're having to buy tables again, that FX and FX is not giving us any money any money for this thing or donated anything for our thing, so I'm not a spokesperson for them. But I kind of understand it. If you think about it, my God, the wife and I went out for a hamburger the other day, and it was $18 for two of us. And it was a crapola McDonald's hamburger, okay? For $18. So with the cost of goods and services, the cost of things nowadays, when FX comes out with a new platform, how can you feasibly convince them that they're going to just give you all the tables on the new platform? There's got to be some monetary exchanges there, especially when you got a middleman like Steam. They're the company that produces them. You still got Steam, Epic, Nintendo, PlayStation, all those stores that are selling them for you. So somebody's got to be compensated. And you want to know the truth, if you take a look at what it is nowadays, you can, if you go to a pinball place and it's a bar, you're going to buy drinks. Even if you don't drink alcohol, you're going to buy a soda. They're going to want you to say a pizza. You can play in your own home. You can play these beautiful games on your computer, a homemade cabinet, on whatever you want. For what are they averaging? About $1.50 a piece in the packs, and then some of the individual ones might be running $5 or $6, but it's really squat to me.
Yeah, and I look at it, and I was talking with Kelly about it the other day because I saw on Reddit some people that were ranting again about it, and it's mostly calmed down on Reddit, but every once in a while it flares back up and someone will mention, it's bullshit that we got to pay for. And I just think for all the other gamers that play on, whether they've had an Xbox for years or the Nintendo versions and PlayStations, who here is still playing Madden 2005? Nobody. And did they give you Madden 2006, 2007, 2008? No, you paid $50 a year every year to get the new, with little tweaks and a new roster. It's like,
well,
people do it.
I've got MLB 2022 on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
MLB 20. I paid $55 for it, and now MLB 2023's come out, and I'll probably pay $55 for that.
Right, and people have been doing it for years without even thinking about it. But for some reason, I think the problem is Zen was nice, and when they went from the original FX to FX2, they carried tables over, and when they went from FX2 to FX3, they carried tables over. This is the first time they didn't. So people were like, how dare you give me my tables for free for the last 10 years, and now you want me to pay for it again, And now I didn't take advantage of that because I never had the original FX or FX2. I started with FX3. But I grumbled about it too. But at the end of the day, I've bought other games that are in series, and I've bought every one of them for $50, $60. Whether it's, baseball, football games, Tiger Woods, golf. People buy all these things every year. Resident Evil games, people are buying all these things, but it is kind of weird. Same with virtual console games. That's what Farrell's saying. He bought Legend of Zelda like 30 times.
Yeah,
oh, look at here, snooch to the nooch. It's Savage in the house.
Across the pond and probably early hours of the morning over there. So, hey, while I've got Retro Man Randy Savage from across the pond on here, I'm going to get off pinball subject just a quick moment. But I got to tell you, I had the most enjoyable time of my life last night. the wife and I went to a concert, an orchestra concert. You're thinking, what? How do you? It was the Great Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. And we went to watch them, and I'll tell you what, they were amazing. There were 7 players, all ukuleles. They played AC/DC, they played classical music, they played rock, they played all kinds of different music. They played some ZZ Top. It was the most amazing thing. And the only other thing I got to say from Randy, he said they were here to make America Great Britain again.
That's funny. Yeah, I meant to ask you earlier, but I ran out of time. I was going to ask you how that concert went.
Oh, it was fantastic. Utterly fantastic. So,
Unknown
gamer. There he is.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah. He's up. He told me he did yard work today. He worked his tail off. So. But getting back, I wanted to say the one other thing I want to say about FX with the people complaining about the cost and everything. Nowadays, if you just think about it, even on our YouTube channels, if we run something that copyright, it used to be these artists, they wanted their stuff put on the radio stations and stuff, but now there's a big thing about these rights to this works of art that they do. And I'm just going to say that Marvel Studios, I'm sure that Zen had to pay some type of compensation. And that's probably one reason why they're not able to put Marvel tables on the Pinball Pass. I always thought, why can't they do that? And that's probably the main reason I'm not going to do the Pinball Pass. I'd rather just own them, not have that yearly fee. And plus, you don't get everything. But Indiana Jones, I'm sure they paid somebody big money to produce that. And same thing with the Star Wars. So there's big money in these things that goes on.
And it's not just the little stuff that by the time you get to a Indiana Jones where it's a $15 table and you're thinking, oh my gosh, $15 for one table, that's ridiculous. It's not just the name of Indiana Jones. You got likenesses that you have to make sure, you got people's picture on the back glass is enough to make that you got to pay a certain royalty for. And sometimes then you get, Road Warrior people that show up randomly when you're trying to talk about pinball and you don't even know what's happening.
Well, before we bring our guest on, I want to say one thing real quick because I don't want to forget. You mentioned Indiana Jones. The other day I was watching a program that had Harrison Ford on it. And the guy asked him how much money he was getting for all his likenesses. He went right into what you're talking about. It's Harrison Ford. He said for Han Solo and for Indiana Jones. And Harrison Ford just laughed and said, "You don't want to know." So he was talking evidently a sizable amount of money. There's our good friend Gaming Road Warrior. Sorry to keep you on.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Oh, you too. You guys weren't talking about Fishtails or Funhouse? I thought that's what brought me back here.
Hey, we don't say those F words in this channel. This is a family channel. We don't say Fishtails and Funhouse. Those words are banned. I do want to jump in real quick, not to cut off Mike in his big intro here, but Champagne Room said he's going to live stream his tournament play on Twitch. So make sure you get us a link so we can put it on on Discord so people can see it there and let people watch your play. But I'll do a short video, and I'm sure Greg will too.
Yeah, if you'll let us know when and where you're going to do it and how to do it, we will promote that. So do me a favor and don't do it tonight or tomorrow. Give us a
little bit of warning. And I think Mike might even do it too if the price is right. He might do it. He's kind of expensive. He'll work you into one of his videos though. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, let us know, Champagne Room, when you're going to do that. I will definitely do a short video and advertise for it.
Yeah, you got my number, Champagne Room. So just send me a text with that information or call me or whatever. So anyway, well, hey, the topic since we're trying to stay on topic tonight, and Mike joined us, so this leads a perfect lead in because I had Bart talking about FX Pinball on the Steam, moving from Epic to Steam, and how he's been buying some tables and the great deals he got. I gave my input about my staying with Epic, and also talking about how I plan on probably going nuts when they throw it on the Switch. Mike, I know you're hitting you blind without much chance to prepare, but give us a little insight into how it's going for you on the PlayStation 5 with Pinball FX. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I'm loving it so far. I just purchased Twilight Zone, and I've been playing a lot of that. I did try out your guys' was it the Kong tables and the Godzilla one, and I agree with Bart. I do like Kong more than the other two. They seem more fun to me. The Kong versus Godzilla, the voice kind of irritates me. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Poe's voice as the background.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
That is saying
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a little great. At first you're kind of like, oh, this is an interesting thing, the way they went with it, and then you're like, okay, I've had enough of this. It's not quite on the level of the My Little Pony call outs, but it's not great.
Since you mentioned Poe and My Little Pony, it's funny. Poe is if any of you watch his channel and everything, he drinks. Loves to drink a little Milwaukee's Best. That's his classic beer, But I heard the other day he had a Bud Light and then went straight to playing My Little Pony and couldn't get off it. Moving on. Mike,
yeah, I saw on Reddit since Mike mentioned the Twilight Zone, I saw on Reddit, and I sent it out to you guys in our chat, the history of the Twilight Zone pinball, and I was a little disappointed, Mike, that they didn't even mention in there that was one of the first tables you ever played in real life. I thought for sure they would have put that in the documentary, but apparently they didn't. But it was. Did you watch it?
Yes. I didn't realize it was like the number one table during that time. Yeah.
Very interesting little documentary. He's stepping on your toes a little bit, though, Mike. That's your area of the documentaries. We'll have to tell him, hey, back off a little. You got to get permission from the Road Warrior before you go throwing out videos. But
how well would you say, though, that your experience is overall, though, with FX Pinball? I mean, I know you have certain tables you like, which I love that input and don't care for. But, I mean, the overall experience of playing it, like I've heard now, and maybe you haven't had a chance to try this yet, can you rotate your screen now? I heard that they were going to update that for the PlayStation and Xbox players.
Ooh. Yeah, so I don't know. I have a 75-inch screen. I mean, I guess I could have my wife hold it for me while I play pinball, but I don't think she's going to like that.
Well, I got this rotatable screen in the office, and I love to, on the Switch, I can rotate it. And of course, on Epic, I can rotate it now. Oh, I've been able to rotate it. I kind of go into cabinet mode, a half-ass cabinet mode. But I was curious. So sometime you might just try rotating it and just hold your head like this just to see if I would expect you to play it. But I'm just curious if it is rotating, if it is able to rotate on the PlayStation. So,
I saw on Reddit some people posted that it is working, the rotating and we got to that. Their creative ways of tipping their TVs. You can tell the single guys based on how sketchy their TV is leaning against. Like their wives will be killing them, but it is working, I guess. And people are starting to build cabinets. Well, and then I sent you that link, that guy that made a cabinet with a switch.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, for he basically just built the box, put a 32-inch TV in there, and then he got the buttons and the little what do you call those that you plug the
USB encoder?
Yeah, the encoder. And then he HDMI's into the TV, plugs the encoder into some buttons on the box, and his switch is powering his cabinet.
Wow.
No backglass or anything, but yeah, you could do the same. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was in the VPN subreddit. I don't remember where I saw it on Reddit somewhere, but
yeah, it was Reddit. Yeah.
But if they in Champagne Room say if they could do 2 screens so you could put up back glasses, then it would be crazy. But
that would be cool.
Well, see, that's some of the things I'd like to talk about too if we get into doing more on this, because Bart built his. If we get into doing more pinball shows for everybody, Bart, is we you've got a home built machine. I got 2 home built machines, and I've been looking at actually taking in. There's been so many different things come up. You're right. Amazon has the encoder made specifically for the Switch now. It's got the right labels on it to tell you which is your RZ and LZ and all that, the different switches. There's all kinds of different things you can buy, but where was I headed with that? Anyway, but yes, I've looked at taking my @games, the @games pinballs that we play, and I've looked at building a pinball machine. I've thought about building my own @games pinball machine using my Legends Mini, and just build that in as the buttons and put a TV in a box above it. The only thing I haven't figured out is how to get a back glass with that.
Right. Yeah. I kind of did that with going the really cheap route of I just have my my Legends Gamer Pro on a stand, and then I have a TV on a rotatable mount, and right now it's been in vertical mode ever since the first Dr. Seuss tables came out. Right. And so, but it's on the wall. It's not laying flat like a pinball table. It's mounted on the wall vertical, and that's where I play pinball. But yeah, it's an interesting thought to build a cabinet just for that. And you could, especially with a Mini, because you could, the Pro is kind of wide. You have one of those also, but that'd be a big old box. But I do have a 50-inch TV I'm not using for anything. Maybe make a wide body pinball.
I've got the rotatable screen in the office and one on the deck for that TV I put out there. But a matter of fact, and this is something else we could show people sometime. I'll look it up and research it. There was somebody that was selling a TV that was a stand that held your TV landscape. It'd rotate to portrait, but it was also made to pull out from the wall, twist, and lay flat. And you could.
Oh, wow!
I think it was a little expensive, but it was made specifically for people who wanted to play. I think they had @games in mind because @games will go straight into horizontal. Portrait mode.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And Derek said here he's talking about the Switch. I'm thinking there with you can get the side rails. I saw a guy on Reddit that 3D printed some deals, and it looked like a box kind of with the regular flipper buttons or arcade buttons on the side, and it would activate the shoulder buttons on your Joy-Cons. So you'd slip them in there, and then it was like you would pushing regular. Yeah.
I think I've showed these before. I never did go anywhere with these, but that was the original concept for this, because the Nintendo Switch fits right in here.
Right.
And matter of fact, I was going to send you one of these, Mike, till I figured out that you got the OLED model, and the OLED will not fit in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold my old one already.
You sold your what now? Oh, your old one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got the buttons for it, but I need to order that thing from Amazon, that encoder board. and I've kind of abandoned the project because I think I'm going to do something bigger. You know, at Walmart the other day, I saw 23-inch 1080. I think they were 1080p TV. You know, they're not 4K, but 1080 TVs, 23-inch for $99. They had a stack of them.
Really?
I mean, yeah, that'll make a decent little. You know, if you just want a little pinball machine for your deal and hook your games up to it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't even take up much space. You make a little tabletop pinball thing that you just put it in the closet when you're not playing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Hollywood Polo's here. Good to see you.
Great.
Yeah. How much FX have you played this weekend? I don't get to play much pinball on the weekends because that's the only time I work. But I don't know. Did you get to play much pinball this weekend, Greg or Mike?
Go ahead, Mike. Did you play much?
Just Twilight Zone.
Just Twilight Zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was that tournament that Poe started? This goes back to my memory. I'd have to look on the Discord.
Oh, yeah, he did the fish tails.
And I hate that table. And did you see that? I pulled off a score from hell.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the craziest score I've ever seen you make. I think, yeah.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all in the last. It was all in the last ball. I hit something that kept throwing these multi-million scores up there. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Did I hit?
Well, I'm so bad at fishtails. When Poe started the thing, he got like 16 million, and I thought I'm not even going to reach that. And then I got a pretty good score, and then you blew me away by, I think you more than doubled my score. But yeah, and then I saw on YouTube Poe played again, and he couldn't beat his own score. So, you know, it was sad, but I still managed to laugh. So it was okay. I noticed Mike didn't get in on the big fishtails tournament. Poe was a little upset about that. He was.
Oh no, I wanted him to win this time.
Oh,
I didn't see that happen.
He's barely in the top 5, and there's only 4 people that played.
Is Chaos still in the chat? Chaos, are you still here with us?
I haven't seen him chat for a while.
And let's see, what Hollywood Polo's asking something. I was playing FX with my Xbox controller, and let me bring it up on the screen. I was playing FX with the Xbox controller, and the app lags badly for me, even in the minimal settings. Now, okay, well, you're saying you use your Xbox controller, which is what I use, but I take it you mean you're running it on a PC. And I will say this, Bart can address this. The PC takes a lot more to run FX than it does FX3. Am I right, Bart?
Oh yeah, it needs a lot more horsepower.
There's Polo's stats though. He's running at 20.
He's got 2060, 16 gig of RAM. I don't know what processor speed you're running or what kind, because that's what I have a 2060 card. In my motherboard and processor chip, which was pretty close to the top of the line when I bought it. I can't even the motherboard won't handle more than 8 gig of RAM. So I'm running on 8 gig of RAM. But one of the things to check with the, if you haven't tried it, turn off that VSync. That's a bad thing. And if you can, yeah, you should be fine. You should be in great shape with a i5, but make sure that VSync's turned off. And they said a lot of people were saying do a frame rate lock to 60 frames a second, which a lot of people freak out, especially the serious gamers that want, if I don't have 300 frames a second, it looks like shit. They then said these pinball games are optimized for 60 frames a second. So I have mine. I turned off the VSync and I locked it to 60 frames a second, and it immediately played better. And then, of course, like everything, you mess with the anti-aliasing, and don't even think about the ray tracing. Turn that off before you even play the first game. You try ray tracing, it's going to be a slideshow. But yeah, so you want to turn that stuff off. But yeah, turn off that VSync and see what happens. Because even with my older processor, it's a quad core. It's a 3.4 gigahertz quad core. I got it overclocked to 3.6. And I only have 8 gig of RAM and a 2060 card. And when I'm in Steam, because Steam will let you put the overlay right on the screen, it is a rock solid 60 frames a second. It doesn't even flinch. So, yeah. He's got VSync off and ultra latency mode in NVIDIA. See, I don't mess with any of that NVIDIA stuff. You can lock it to 60 frames inside the settings on FX. Go into your video settings and click over to the advanced tab. And I think it's right in there. But you can lock it to, and you don't have to do 60 frames a second. They have different ones, but they suggest 60 because that's how they optimize the game to be run at 60 frames a second. So, and it's supposed to change the physics, I guess. I don't know if you have too high, the physics won't work out somehow. I don't know, but I don't play well enough to tell. Maybe I don't know. These physics things, people are like, oh, these physics are great and these ones are junk. I play like crap on all the physics, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think that's in FX3 Champagne Rude, the frame rate lock. But I heard Steam locks it though, because when I play FX3, even though it takes far less horsepower out of your computer, when I'm in Steam playing FX3, it's a steady 60 frames a second too. It's just locked there. So I don't know, but yeah, they say VSync, get rid of that. Of course, ray tracing and locking it to 60 frames a second is supposed to help. So I did all of that stuff. But I've seen guys in Reddit that have the 40 series cards, and they can't even run ray tracing without just slaughtering their frame rates. They're running the top of the line. What are they, 4070s, 4080s or something like that, 4090s even. And they're like, yeah, I turn on ray tracing, it cuts my frames in half. So, yeah. Now, does that PlayStation, do you run it with ray tracing on or?
Oh, right? I didn't mess with the settings, so I don't know where it's set at. But I'll look at it tonight when I go on there. Okay. And I'm going to try on my PC to play FX because I have a 980 Ti graphics card, 6-core AMD processor, 32 gigabytes of RAM. And so I'll try it on mine. And then my son's got a 970 with a quad-core AMD, and his is a 16 gigabytes of RAM. So I'll try running FX on both machines.
Hang on just a second. Brother. Oh, I had to sing brother.
Well, he's got his own, but I helped him build it when he was little. So, I mean, I gave him my 970 when I got a 980 Ti. So I'm going to try to see if that works and see how that plays. Hopefully it should run it because 980 back in the day was especially the Ti was the best card. But yeah, I'm kind of behind on graphics cards right now.
Yeah. Huh. I don't remember. I'm not standing at I don't have the machine on, so I can't remember, but I know it's in there somewhere. I set it to 60. But yeah, Mike be like, it runs great.
It runs wonderful.
Yeah. We'll curious.
See. Hopefully it doesn't end up like a flip book.
Right. Yeah, it's I remember back in the day when I bought the computer that's running my pinball machine, it was so I could play Flight Sim FSX when it first came out.
Nice.
And that thing was so kind of like when FX 2020 or Flight Sim 2020 came out. You got to have a bestial computer to run these things. And my computer at that time, it was like a slideshow. You're getting like 1 frame per second. You're trying to fly in your planes. And of course, then all of a sudden it's like, and you're crashing. But yeah, just complete slideshow. Yeah, Derek's going to stay quiet. We don't want to know about Derek's computer. He's probably got a 78 core processor running at 12 gigahertz each core, and he has the newest NVIDIA card that's a 7070 Ti. No one's even invented yet. But we won't pick on Derek because he sets up and runs our Discord, so we like Derek. No matter what Greg says about you, Derek, we still like you.
No matter what Poe says.
Whatever Poe says. Well, no one listens to Poe anymore. But
Derek, I've always said that when it comes to technology, all that stuff's they ship it over here from Japan, and as soon as the consumers start buying it, they have the next generation of stuff sitting in a cargo ship waiting to unload on us. As soon as everybody's done with it, and they make sure that everything just works fine for a while, and then Windows will come along and say, "I've got to do updates every 30 minutes," and then eventually it'll get to the point where it says, I can't work anymore. You have to have more RAM. You have to have a better video card. Remember when they came out with it? What was it? The first modems. There were 14.4, then 28.8, and then 56.
Oh, you got that 56K modem. You were screaming then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, actually, my first modem was a 2800 baud. It was super slow. You'd go to like text chat rooms and text even took forever. Yeah, that was a bad time to try to develop a porn habit because the internet was just not up to snuff. But
well, I'm old enough to remember before the internet. And I don't know if you guys will remember it. I don't know if Mike will. He's the youngest here, but. I had a bulletin board service. I had a dedicated line to my house. I had a dedicated computer. It wasn't even a Pentium. What was the one before Pentium?
The 486?
Yeah, the 486 that was on all the time, and people could dial into it, and they could play games, and they could answer questionnaires, and it was kind of like there was no internet hook to it. Because a matter of fact, a guy called me, and he says, man, have you tried the internet yet? He says, it's cool as shit, And I'm like, you mean what do you mean? What's the internet? I said, there's a bulletin board. This guy's all excited. He says, because he ran a bulletin board service. Our computers would talk to each other at night. It was the coolest thing. And people thought it was cool. And we just thought, because I could sit there at night and watch other people log into my computer and turn the monitor on and see them playing games and stuff. It was just cool stuff.
Yeah.
And look where we're at now.
Yeah, my first computer I had didn't even have a modem, didn't have a hard drive. It had 2 5.25-inch floppies. It was a huge thing when the 3.5s came out. And you're like, wow, we could hold 1.5 megabyte, 1.4 megabytes on one floppy disk. Look at this go. And then I built a 486. I had a 486 DX280. Just a screaming thing with a monster 80 megabyte hard drive.
Oh.
80 whole megabytes. What was I going to do with 80 megabytes of hard drive space?
And the first gaming type game I played, or what I don't know what they'd call it, because I'm terrible with that. RFG, real fun game. Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, Leisure Suit Larry.
On floppy disk.
You go into the bathroom and you flush the toilet. That's my yeah. Derek, the 5 and I remember Windows 3.1 came on 11 floppy disks. And then you could try to install it on your monster, normal that 80. It sounds like I'm joking, but it was serious. That 80 megabyte hard drive was huge at the time. Most computers had 20 or 40s. And I got an 80, and it was it was just a blast back in the day. But yeah, Leisure Suit Larry. That was my uncle actually introduced me to that game. He was like, "You got to try this thing."
Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizards.
Right.
Yeah, I had a hell of a time trying to get in there. I was really young to play that. I think it was my friend's dad owned it, and he popped it in, and then we had to answer these questions that we didn't really know. So what was kind of funny, we wrote down the questions and started asking people like in convenience stores, like adults, and say, "Hey, we're trying to figure out a crossword puzzle. Can you help us?" And we got the answers, entered it in the computer, and we were able to play the game.
Nice.
Yeah, it was their way of age verification. They asked you questions.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, hey guys, we can sit here all night and probably reminisce about that, but I just wanted to let you know that we've been on 1 hour and 6 minutes. We think we got most of our topics covered. So if you guys don't mind, unless you got something big, I don't want to interrupt either one of you. I'm going to turn it over to final thoughts. I'll do pre-final thoughts first. If anybody's got anything big they want to bring up before I turn it over to final thoughts.
No, I think we've wandered about enough.
Yeah. We're having a good time, though. Hey, where else can you have a good time? You got the three of us here, and like I always got to say toward the end of every show, I say, God bless you, Mr. Postile, wherever you are. There was an old comedian that used to say that, or actor that used to say that. Well, Mr. I don't know. It's an older than me. I remember my dad used to say that. God bless wherever you are. So,
All right.
Final thoughts. Always turn it over to my guests first. Let Mike say, is there anything you want to talk about? Get off your chest. Final thoughts before we go off tonight, Mike. Your show now.
All right. Yeah, probably on the FX on turning it around. I'll try to see if I can do it. I can probably move my PS5 to my smaller 32-inch in the bedroom and see if I can try that out for you guys. So I'm curious too if you can do that. So, and then of course doing the PC to see if it'll run on my settings on the computer. But yeah, one of the games I'm kind of wanting to talk to you about, Greg, that what's that, the necrophilia game, or what the heck is that?
The Nero Dancer.
Oh yeah, Nero Dancer. Okay, I got the title wrong. But anyways, yeah, I saw you and your wife playing it, and you get only 10 turns, right, on it before it stops.
I figured that out when we first set it up. We legitimately didn't lie to our audience. When I say I played it for the first time, I may have fired it up just to see if it worked and let the balls drain. But we had literally never played that game before. So I set it up for 2-player hot seat, which is a new thing for me too, because they just fixed that. And long story short, I played and it kept giving me these ball saves. And it said player 1's still up, and I just kept playing. I couldn't. What the hell? I just thought a lot of ball saves. Well, then it said player 2's turn. So I thought she'd play, and then I'd play, and then she'd play like a normal pinball. Well, if she played, and it kept draining and saying, well, game's over. So we played it a second time. I finally read what limited I could find out about it. There's certain things you have to do, like in pinball, what do they call them, modes, modes. As you complete a mode, it either gives you more time or more balls. I haven't figured that out yet, but I know that I finally beat her only because I got to play longer, so Bart and I have different opinions on this, and I'll give mine and I'll let Bart give his. Mine is to me, it's challenging because you don't worry about the drain. You actually are starting to learn more about what you need to do on the play field. So the wife and I kind of like it because Cheryl does not. Cheryl gets really frustrated and says a lot of things that a woman shouldn't say when balls drain. I tell her when I'm filming on YouTube that she can't say motherfucker. What? Oh, did I say it? She can't say that when we're on doing her thing that's going out. So she likes that. But then, so that's my take on it. Is it's different, and I think the sound's good. Now with that, I'm going to turn it over to my counterpart over here, Bart, and you tell him the truth why you hate it, and it's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, because everybody has things they like and things they don't. I can just tell you why I didn't like it, but it's all the time that you're playing. You have hearts that are up there, and if you have, there's hearts up there, and there's a number down in the bottom of the DMD, and if that number is at 1.0 and you lose a ball, it goes to 0.5. If it's at 0.5 and you lose a ball, you lose a heart. When you're out of hearts, the game is over. But as you're playing and you're hitting shots, it'll go from 1.0 to 1.1 to 1.2 to 1.3. And then if you lose a ball, it'll just drop back down to 1.0. So then you still have 2 balls to lose before you lose a heart. And you start off with 3 hearts. So that's why if you're doing a lot of good shots and you're getting those numbers clicked up, and I think if you get above 1.5, it might do the same thing. Then if you're at 1.6, it'll knock you down to 1.5 and then down to 1.0 and then to 0.5. Because I played and I was making a lot of shot, and we did the same thing. Kelly and I were playing hot seat, and she never got her turn because I was playing and I wasn't draining very often, and it was building up those numbers. And I eventually got to the point I was just done. I didn't want to play anymore because I was playing for quite a while. She didn't get to play at all, and I felt like I'm hogging the machine, and I'm not good enough at pinball to hit shots. You know, when it gets frustrating when you're playing a mode and okay, you got to hit the left ramp, and then they tell you to hit the right ramp. If you can't hit the left ramp, it gets frustrating. And when it keeps telling you, the whole game is premised on hitting the right things at the right time. Right. And if you do that, it's great, and you'll get more points towards your hearts, and eventually you'll get more hearts. I never gained any hearts, so I don't know what it takes to gain a heart, but I just know how to lose them. But it was taking a long time, and I quite frankly, I got bored with it. I got tired of playing it, and that's happened with me with other games too. If you play a pinball machine that's too easy, maybe you don't have an hour and a half to play one game of pinball. So you're like, you just don't play it. But it's a neat game. It's interesting because it's a different premise. It's the sounds, the colors and all that. It's well done. It's just not my cup of tea. Because it takes too long of still trying to hit that left ramp. It's like, I want to move on, but you might love it. I don't know. You might love it.
Thanks for showing up, Polo. I see looks like he's signing off there. I was just going to say goodbye to him real quick.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, Derek, that's the thing with netrophilia.
Yeah.
But
it does have a weird name. When I got ready to say Cheryl and I were going to play it on my recorded session, I told her, I said, am I saying this right? Because I said I want to say something bad. I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah, but next time you play, Greg, watch the hearts up in the top left and the number down in the bottom right. And if like when Cheryl's playing, you can watch, and you'll see it'll drop down to 1.0, and then if she drains, it'll go to 0.5, and if she drains again, she'll lose one of her hearts up on the top. So it's kind of like video game based, when you're playing Zelda, you take a hit, you lose half a heart, and then you lose a whole, and when you're done, you're done. That's kind of how the game works. So if you can build up your hearts all the way, I think max you can have is 5. If you build it all the way up to 5 hearts, you can play for a long time, because that's 10.
I think the impression between the two is to each his own. And I'll compare it to one other thing. And, in Pinball FX or FX3, at least you had a tournament you could set up. You had the 1 ball, the 3 ball. They had what they called a 5-minute tournament. You just play for 5 minutes. The ball never drained. Just get reloaded for you. I couldn't stand those because 5 minutes is a long time. It's It really is, because look at the average. Some of my Stranger Things will tell you what your average game is on the real pinball machine, that little computer, and they'll tell you. And most of the games, the whole game, all 3 balls, you're lucky to get 5 minutes on that real pinball machine. Usually it's 3 to 4 minutes, the whole game, one person.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you start feeling really awkward if you're playing 2-player and the other person's. But that could happen with anything. If you can get on that Stranger Things table and play, and it takes you 15 minutes for every 1 ball that you're playing, the people you're playing with are going to be bored. They're going to be outside drinking Old Milwaukee or something, and you're in there playing pinball.
Or Bud Light, then you'll go back in and play My Little Pony. But anyway.
Right.
Okay, Bart, did you have, or Mike? I'm sorry. Is that all? Did you have anything else before?
That's it.
Did we answer your question? I guess it's up to you. I don't know if you get a free chance to play those games for free on your PlayStation.
I got the trial version of it, so I'm gonna try it out, see how I like it.
Yeah, when I installed it on Steam, it gave me the pinball pass for 24 hours.
Oh.
So if you install it on Steam to test on your computer, you might get to try it anyway, unlimited. Because it actually did the same thing for me with Epic. When I went back into Epic, it gave me the pinball pass there, which I didn't want it because I wanted to know which tables I owned, so I didn't double buy them. So I had to wait till 24 hours went by. But yeah, so that might work. But yeah, so you might get to play it longer there. But yeah, as far as final thoughts for me, then, if you were, again, it's just back to the tournament. We got this is the finals. We got Champagne Room versus Balls of Slapping. Champagne Room's going to put it on Twitch, and he's going to get with us. I think he said he's going to post the link in the Discord, and at that point, I'm going to do a video. And I think, Greg, you said you're going to do a video kind of advertising. So hopefully people can watch him on Twitch to see how he does. And so that'll be interesting. And then we'll see you guys next week to announce the big winners and do the drawing for the other the secondary prize, whatever you want to call it, the consolation prize or whatever.
Yeah, which is really just as big as the first place person, other than the trophy. And I'm telling you, the trophy, honestly, I got chaos getting that out of a claw machine for me.
Yeah.
You ever watch Chaos's channel? He's the king of the claw machines, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chaos is back. I see him over there in the chat. So that's all I got, though, Greg.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, reiterate what Bart said. I want to thank Mike for showing up. Again, I think Bart and I we're going to be back next week for sure. I think we're going to take a quick break in between, and then we're going to work out a time and try to keep continuing bringing you great pinball stuff. We'll maybe have a weekly pinball tournament. It's not going to be any prizes or anything, but there's a lot of stuff we covered tonight that we could get more in depth on if we had a weekly thing that we talked about. And of course, our old gang, Gaming Road Warrior, Mr. Postile, and Arcade Chaos are always welcome anytime to join us and enlighten us with all their neat stuff and promote their channels, because they got some great stuff going on. And I want to brag on, last thing I'll say is I want to brag on my buddy Gaming Road Warrior. Great content, man. He doesn't have a lot because what he's got is good. So I'm going to tell you, watch that. They're very well put together. I actually watch his whole videos, and you'll see why, because they're good videos. So make sure you check out his videos.
Excellent videos. Yeah.
That's all I got. I want to thank the Champagne. Well, I'm not going to go down the limit. I want to thank everybody that showed up tonight. And the Unknown Gamer, which I think everybody knows, my son, if he's still there. Good to see you, son. Ever since he moved out, I don't see him as much as I used to. So, all right, sounds good, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, same place, same channel. Bye now.
See ya.
See ya.